Chefs, what red flags should people look out for when they go out to eat?
This is late, but I clean kitchen exhaust systems. If you walk in a restaurant and can smell grease, walk out. That means the place isn't clean. From the exhaust system to cooking equipment. We clean some places where grease drips off the hoods onto cooking surfaces. Edit: for my first ever post this blew up. Thank you all. If employees try to argue with you about food quality in order to dissuade you from sending something undercooked back, just leave. It means they have a cook who can't take criticism, and your chances at getting a sneezer are greatly increased.
Ask where your oysters come from. If they don't know, you don't want them. Works for most seafood. Not a chef but worked in food a lot. Carpet. Yeah, it's quieter and doesn't get slick, but it is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. I saw them pull it up when they remodeled, and put in more carpet. Vacuuming only goes so far in a restaurant, and I know they never, ever shampooed it.
If a restaurant has a one-page menu, that's usually a pretty good sign. It means their line cooks have become specialists, and can usually nail all the dishes listed. Conversely, if a restaurant has a giant, multi-page menu, that's a gigantic red flag. The longer the menu, the better the odds that you're paying to eat a boiled bag frozen meal.
If the area is busy but the restaurant is empty, that's usually a bad sign. When the menus are super dirty and never cleaned, that means everything is super dirty and never cleaned.
Cook for a small Mexican restaurant here. I always look for how the staff interact with each other. If they all seem to enjoy being there, and coordinate well, more often than not it's because everything is running smoothly and they have a good system, which usually means they know what they are doing and you can expect good food. That's how it always is for the smaller, family-run restaurants I frequent anyway, which I believe always have the best food.
Not a chef, but I just took a chance on a restaurant today, and the chefs were sitting, legs up, right next to the front door as I walked in. No one but staff and me there. So, according to how my stomach feels, probably that. Not a chef, front of the house. When my boss, the owner, used to host and people would complain to her about the hour wait on Saturday night at 7 p.m. and then threaten to leave, she would tell them, if the restaurant you choose does not have a wait on a Saturday night, you may not want to eat there. And then turn her biggest shit-eating grin on them. Can I add you to the list?
I have a family member who's worked in multiple different restaurants, and they always advise me never to get drinks with ice because too many places don't keep their ice machines cleaned because it's so often overlooked compared to other kitchen equipment.
We have a sushi place where the chef gives you free samples of future dishes. This usually means they take pride in their work and want to see people's reactions before committing it to the menu. I've worked in restaurants for over a decade. A couple years in the kitchen, and the rest as FOH. If your server's response to "how is the item" seems disingenuous, that's a big red flag. We know what goes on in the kitchen, we know the complaints, and we know which items to stress over when we deliver them. Servers who pause or seem uncomfortable with that question generally equates to a menu full of stuff we wouldn't eat even as a free shift meal. A good sign is when servers hang out and eat at the restaurant post-shift. Generally we are getting a discount but not free food. If we are spending our nightly tips on it, it's worth it. There's a Chinese restaurant in my town with a sign out front that says, "Clean food and fresh." I still can't help but wonder why they would bring that up unprovoked.
If you order a meal that should take a long time to cook and it comes out very quickly, it's been pre-cooked. Edit. This applies mostly to quiet nights. If it's quiet and it comes out immediately, it's just been sitting there. But if it's busy, then there's enough turnover that it's likely alright and chefs are just being prepared.
Pro tip, look up the health inspector reports for your county. For Florida, https://data.tallahassee.com/restaurant-inspections.
If there is different cuisines on the same menu, it usually means it's not gonna be good. I don't trust that people can do Japanese and Italian in the same kitchen. If you walk into a restaurant and hear Gordon Ramsay yelling at the staff, you probably want to leave. Unless it's one of Gordon's restaurants, of course.
Waitress here. If you see any food coming out that's messy, and there's sauce all over the rim of the plate, etc., it's likely to mean that the chefs aren't putting much effort into their meals, and they therefore will not be very good. All the chefs at my work find it so important that everything is presented well, and I agree, so if they miss something I'll check the plates, and point it out, which they always appreciate, as it reflects well on them.
Stay away from buffet and salad bars. A lot of the time it is the same stuff that just gets refilled over and over. Super gross.
I recently went to a newish barbecue place. I knew the moment I opened the menu it was going to be awful. The place had at least 120 things on the menu that run the gamut, from burgers to lobster thermida. When you see that, you know it's going to be terrible. It means they are trying to do everything rather than focusing on a smaller range of things, and doing it very well. As I suspected, it was terrible.
It's a good idea to avoid restaurants that sound like Snappily cheese. Obligatory, not a chef. My grandfather was a long-haul trucker, and always told me on road trips to look for the places truckers congregate. They all talk to each other and will find the best places along the highways. It's worked out for me so far. Edit. So in response, this is for greasy spoon places and I don't count gas stations. Also, this advice was given a few decades ago, so things have probably changed since. Still find pretty tasty, horrible for you food, though.
If there are too many items on the menu. If you have 50 combo choices, man, you know half that stuff is frozen, old, canned, etc. Nothing is gonna be great like an In-N-Out burger. It's all gonna be meh.
I agree with most of these tips, but man, I remember my trip to Malacca, Malaysia. We walked up to a stall where an elderly lady was squatting down just in front of the sidewalk with a plastic basin and washing the dishes in it. Stray cats were coming in from the alley and licking at dishes. My first question was, is this a restaurant ? Upon closer inspection, yes, it is. My second question was, who on earth would eat here? Then our guide brought us inside. Looks like, we are *. Food was amazing and delicious, and despite fearing the worst, nobody got sick.
My wife trained as a chef and I cooked in fine dining in college. A long menu is a red flag. If they have 40 different entries, it means that they are preparing a bunch of frozen ingredients, or they have the exact same entry rebranded as a different dish based on the sauce. Short menus tend to mean fresher ingredients.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one. And as always, stay safe and good luck.